Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me, tell me, tell me.
For the past several days, there has been two separate videos going around wrestling social media, which feature WWE superstars Rey Mysterio and Liv Morgan. Both of these videos have brought up the discussion about signing autographs, because both of these video clips, the Rey one that I've seen is about 34 seconds, the Liv Morgan one is about 40 seconds, where it shows them both signing or potentially signing autographs. The Rey Mysterio video is obviously the one that has gotten the most attention, because in that video, at an airport apparently, he is seen seemingly refusing to sign autographs for fans. Well, at least two guys. But the problem is, if you look at that video, this is obviously not just a case of two fans or a group of fans running into Rey at the airport. These are online resellers. There's obviously nothing wrong with online selling. That has been around since the internet was in its infancy. People could sell websites, sell different pieces of merchandise and memorabilia, and even reselling has become a huge thing, and I have no problem with that either. People use eBays, the Amazons and Etsy's and all these kind of different websites to sell stuff online. What the problem is in this video, and certainly that Rey Mysterio has, is who these two gentlemen are, which is, as I said, at least one of these problems is that these are internet online resellers. What normally happens if you are a fan of a wrestler and you happen to run into them in a public place, if you're lucky, you might have one or two things that you could get signed, or if you don't, normally you would get a picture with them. If you have something, even a piece of paper you can get an autograph on, that's a long tradition, obviously for not just wrestlers but any celebrity, you can get their autograph. And the vast majority of wrestlers are certainly very amenable to wrestling fans, and they will stop, sign an autograph, get a picture with you if they have the opportunity to do so. However, that is not what's happening in this video. Like I said, these are two resellers. Two guys who have two, and there are three people in the video. I'm not entirely sure about the guy who films this. I'm not entirely sure what his deal is, but certainly the two guys to his left are resellers who have two very large pieces of card with multiple items attached to those cards. And I'm talking about like 2 foot wide cards at least, it looks like. They've got Funko Pops, some pictures. It's difficult to say exactly what's on these cards from the video, but these are people that are obviously wanting to get wrestlers like Rey in particular, because he's a big name, to sign all those individual pieces of merchandise, which then they will take away. They will go home and they will resell them online for sometimes exorbitant or inflated prices. And I understand everybody's got to make a living, but I generally don't think the income is, for these kind of resellers, probably not declared, and it probably most likely isn't actually their profession. Some of them it may be, but I highly doubt for a lot of them it is. What's obviously irritating Rey in this video, and why I believe he is firmly within his rights to refuse to sign many or all of these items that those two gentlemen have, is number one, it seems they are being a little bit pushy towards him and getting him to try and sign all of these individual items. Obviously, again, I am only seeing the short clip, so I don't know what happened before this video was taken, but certainly it seemed they're slightly pushy. Certainly in the Liv Morgan video, I'll talk about that shortly. The comments and the behaviour, I've only watched that a couple of times, but it looks certainly like those people are being a little bit pushy. I can't quite tell about the same individuals. I haven't looked at the Liv Morgan one very closely, but they are in the Rey Mysterio one, the two guys there, seemingly they're being there a little bit pushy again. They've got to get the autograph of Rey. They've got to get someone to get these things signed. Otherwise, they're not gaining value in those. Obviously, items of official merchandise, one signed by a particular wrestler. So say it's a Funko Pop of Rey Mysterio, it's a photo of Rey, it's some kind of merchandise to do with Rey or any other wrestler. Obviously, if he signs that item personally, then it is of course worth more. But obviously they don't gain that value and they're just reselling unsigned items which don't go for as much if they can't get the wrestlers to sign them. So I think that is where some of them tend to be, and I've heard about this before obviously, tend to be quite pushy in trying to get wrestlers to sign. Who of course are signing out of the goodness of their heart. They're not taking any money from them. I don't know the legalities of WWE contracts. I don't know. From what I believe over the years, I don't believe they're allowed to charge for autographs at all, and even in a public place, even outside the WWE setting, like going through an airport, or if you happen to run into them at a theme park or outside of a hotel or arena or something. Generally, I've never really seen any WWE contracted star, or very many stars, unless it's a public appearance, an actual appearance thing, actually charge for autographs. Well, maybe Virgil would, and I think he does. But regardless, majority of them, they don't charge for autographs. They'll sign it. Again, especially if they're kids or something, they'll sign a quick autograph for you, no bother. But obviously, what is annoying Rey is not only they're being pushy, but of course, these guys are going, taking these items off. Once he's resold, once he's signed them, they're worth more money. They'll go off and resell them for, again, I'm not saying all of them will do it, but sometimes it's exorbitant or certainly inflated prices. And of course, none of that money sees Rey's pocket. They're making money off of him and his signature, something he's done for free. And that obviously annoys a lot of wrestlers because they are literally, in many occasions, trading off of those wrestlers. They're making money off of those wrestlers' backs. And again, WWE contracted wrestlers, I don't know how it works with AEW, I don't know how it works with any other company, in terms of signed contracted guys, but generally, as I said, they don't charge for autographs, and certainly for WWE, the superstars only appear at signings and appearances where they do sign pictures, etc., and pieces of merchandise that either the store that they're appearing at may have created for them, or fans bring along at those particular signings and appearances, okayed or arranged by WWE. Obviously, independent stars, that's slightly different. Guys like maybe Matt Cardona, etc., can be hired by likes of comic stores, different places, even maybe DVD selling stores or something, where they will have Matt Cardona or some other star sign autographs for fans who maybe queue, pay their money or whatever to come in. Or obviously, one thing that has become really popular in the recent years due to the situations is digital online selling, where again, somebody like, I'm using Matt Cardona as an example because he's a very well known name in the independent scene these days. He would go to, say, Austin, Texas. He would go to Phil's comic store, just making up names here. Phil's comic store, he will sign the stuff that the store has made up for them to sell. Plus, on occasion, some of these autograph signings, You can, depending on the arrangements, sometimes you can send items to that comic store. They will have Matt Cardona or whoever sign that item for you for a fee, of course, and then the item will be sent back to you again, something you have to cover. I don't think it's. I think Ray is well within rights in this situation, though, to refuse to sign it, because obviously, again, these guys are making money off of his back. I don't know whether Ray actually knows these guys. Sometimes I'm sure if you're a traveling wrestler like from WWE or any other company, if you go to certain areas, you will get to know, certain regular fans. And if you go through Los Angeles or Tampa or Philadelphia or Texas or wherever, Alaska even maybe, you will maybe see, oh, I'm going through Los Angeles, I'm going to Tampa, oh, there's a good chance I'll see Robert, Sue, Kerry, Phil, Bill, whoever, in the audience at the show tonight. There's a good chance of that. But I'm sure they probably, because there are different ones in different areas, obviously, these online resellers who really try and push to get, and ones that really want or really need, is really more the correct terminology I should use, who really need to get these items signed so they can resell them on and make money off them. I'm sure that they will be recognisable and known to the superstars as well. I'm sure they go into different areas, whether it's through personal contact or whether they get told by colleagues, especially if they're new to the company, they might get told that information. Oh, if you go through LAX or you go through Tampa, you'll see Kerry, Sue, Phil, Bill, Phil, whoever. They'll be hanging around, because some of them do tend to always try and somehow find out wrestlers' travel schedules and flights information. So they happen to be at the airport when these people, when the wrestlers turn up, which is obviously another I don't like, and it's kind of a bit safety thing, bit of a safety issue here, and a bit obsessive sounding. But I'm sure they might get to know that these people are there, and they'll get to know who they are and that they resell this stuff. And again, I don't think really WWE would be happy with Ray or anybody really kind of signing multiple items and per others to be making money off their superstars like that either. But I'm sure if they're told about them, again through personal contact, or whether they're informed about them by their colleagues, it'll be up to each individual wrestler whether they want to sign any or all of the items involved. I want to very quickly talk about the Liv Morgan video. She does seem to be, I've only watched it a couple of times, but certainly she does seem to be getting a bit harassed a little bit. I'm not going to try and make this into she's a female kind of thing, because there are certainly some of the female wrestlers around the world can handle themselves as well as men can. But that type of harassment to any wrestler in public, especially if you're wanting something like an autograph or a picture, as a fan, I've always detested that. I really have. I always really don't like it. Sometimes I'm over polite, I think, sometimes, but I think you, as fans, if you're really wanting an autograph, if you're a genuine fan, you want an autograph or you want a picture, and the wrestler's okay with doing it, because sometimes obviously they're having a bad day, they're under pressures at work or at home, or something's going on, or they're just having a bad day or in a bad mood. Some of them might occasionally say no, and I'm sure people have had that in the past. But I think as a fan, it reflects badly on us fans. Obviously, if we are just like shoving a notepad and pen into somebody's face as they're sitting at their gate at the airport, for example, and we say, sign this, that kind of obviously irritates people. And you imagine if it's the treatment that you're receiving from someone, it makes you less likely to want to sign autographs or take pictures with somebody that day or in general, and that obviously could make other fans suffer. So you could have a nice little Billy who's maybe waited ages to meet somebody, maybe runs into them somewhere, like again at an airport or some public place, and maybe because of the attitude and the behaviour that other fans have received, maybe a certain superstar will say, no, sorry, I don't sign autographs in public, and leave Little Billy upset, and that, and it doesn't reflect. It doesn't reflect well on the fans either. And if you're a genuine fan, you're going to be polite, mind your p's and q's, etc. And certainly, they're not. A lot of fans, they always assume that almost like they're entitled to an autograph, entitled to a picture, with that superstar just because. And obviously, especially in terms of situations like if they're with their family or if they're eating a meal in a restaurant somewhere, or a takeaway or whatever, if they're eating, that's when you kind of leave them alone, especially if they're with a family. You could maybe say hi in passing or wave to them, hi, in passing, if you're at a zoo or something and you're wandering around there with your family and they're wandering with their family, and you kind of recognise them and catch each other's eye, you maybe wave and say hi, and you move on. Or if they're eating again, wait until at least they're finished and maybe they're leaving or something, and again politely ask. So I think, again, fans these days, a lot of people these days assume that they're just entitled to get these things from these fans. And again, especially if these resellers, and again, there's nothing wrong in general resellers, because I've got a lot of wrestling magazines and some figures, etc. that I've bought, not autograph stuff, but and I have my own small collection of autographs that I've got from meeting a few legends and a few guys over the years, but certainly a lot of people these days think they're just simply entitled to get this stuff signed, and obviously, especially if they are making a lot of money, which can be the way it is on occasion. If these guys are making a lot of money off of these wrestlers' backs, no money of that, not any of that money will see Ray's pocket or any wrestler's pockets, and the wrestlers feel that they're being taken advantage of, either harassed, or again these people are making money off of it. They are well within their rights to refuse to sign any and all autographs for the people involved, especially if it's fairly known what's going on in that situation.